Okay, everyone, it's 6:03 p.m. Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. This is Chair Dave Nagaji calling me to order. Anson, please do the roll call.
Okay. When I call your name, please respond. Okay. Robert Zane, he's not here.
Here. No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm online because I'm sick technically, so I have to stay at home at this time instead of being over there in person.
Okay. Ellen Watson. Okay, she's not here. Okay. Dave Nagaji is, of course, here. Fukumoto.
Here.
Okay. Fields. Okay. Lee.
Here.
Okay. Goff.
Here.
Okay. Chong.
Here.
Okay. Moylan. Okay. Patty Quano. Okay. Robert Fox. Joseph Masharkey.
Here.
Okay. That's 9. We have quorum.
I'm sorry, I'm here. This is Patty Kawano.
What's not here? Okay. All right. Thanks. Going to item number 2A, Honolulu Fire Department.
Good evening, everybody. Chris Edwards, Engine 22, Mānoa, third watch. We'll go over our statistics and safety tip for the month. For October, we had 2 activated alarms with no fire, 59 medical calls, 1 motor vehicle collision with pedestrian, 6 other motor vehicle collisions. And that's it for stats. Safety tip for the month is about cooking safety. Food has a unique way of bringing family and friends together, especially during the holidays, and cooking can be a relaxing activity. However, it's important to be aware that cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires and home injuries. By following a few safety tips, you can prevent dangerous situations. Stay alert while cooking. If you're sleepy or have consumed alcohol, avoid using the stove or stovetop. Always stay in the kitchen while cooking. Never leave the stove and heated appliances unattended. Use a timer to remind yourself to check on your food regularly. Keep combustible items like oven mitts, wooden utensils, food packaging, and towels away from the stovetop. And keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking areas.
All right. Any questions or comments for HFD? Anyone online? All right. Thanks. We'll see you again next month.
Thank you.
All right. Going now to item 2B, Honolulu Police Department. Lieutenant's on, but we can't hear him.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut the video. It might, I don't know if the feed might be a little bit slow, so if you guys can hear me on audio, I can continue.
That's the second half line. Will it work?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear audio.
Okay, perfect. Okay, going over the neighborhood board from those statistics of last month. Motor vehicle thefts, we were at 2, burglaries at 2, thefts at 17, unauthorized entry into motor vehicles, we were at 2. Total cost for service, 5,987. The tips we're gonna go into. So we're approaching the holiday season, holiday safety tips. Safety at home, just to double check your smoke alarm batteries and replace them if necessary. Any Christmas trees that might be coming up already, make sure that you have your tree is never near an open flame, such as a candle. Christmas lights, turn off Christmas lights when you sleep or if you leave your home, and never use indoor lights for outdoor lights. Some safety tips while shopping. While arriving at the mall, attempt to park in a busy, well-lit area. If you need to park away from the mall, seek a spot that's on a well-traveled roadway. Avoid carrying large amounts of cash. Use checks or credit cards when available. And do not carry too many packages, which would limit your vision and mobility. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant. Do we have any questions or comments for HPD tonight? Anyone online? Right.
Yeah. And then
All right, seeing and hearing no questions. Thank you, Lieutenant. We'll see you again next month.
Mahalo, everybody. Take care. Be safe.
All right, going out to board business, we have filling of vacancies. So we have 1 vacancy in Subdistrict 3 and 3 vacancies in Subdistrict 4. Do we have anyone who is interested in filling a vacancy? If so, please say so. All right, we don't have anyone who's interested in filling a vacancy right now. We have several items on the agenda, B, C, D, E, and F that were by request of member Ellen Watson. I don't believe she's here currently, so I'll just pass those for now. We'll come back to them when she joins us. Skipping over to board business item G, dog parks. So at a previous meeting, our board discussed the topic of dog parks. However, we didn't take a formal vote. After that, some people from the city clarified that the Department of Parks and Recreation wants us to do a formal vote on the topic. So board members can make motions to endorse on-leash dog parks or off-leash dog parks or both. If they make a motion, they can specify details like the location or the size or anything like that. So do we have anyone who would like to speak on the dog park issue?
Chair, this is Robert Zane. I'd like to
Yes,
speak
go
on the
ahead.
dog park issue. So I would be in favor of supporting a dog park, especially a non-leash dog park located a portion of part of the Mānoa Park, and at least giving that like that pets area, so that way our dogs can run off leash and technically aren't in violation or have to bother anybody who's using like the baseball fields to make sure that our dogs are able to run around without the risk of them wandering into Manoa stream when we don't want them to. So you said that just to clarify, you said that we needed a motion and we could be as broad or specific about the location as necessary.
Yes. So
Okay.
I have some things that I wanted to say before you make any motions, but before I say what I wanted to say, is there anyone else who wanted to talk on the issue? Yes, Member Fox.
This thing on?
Yes, I would like to as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. One second. We have a person in person who's having audio issues.
Sorry, took me a while to figure this out. I'm generally in favor of dog parks. I think they're really healthy and wonderful for the community. However, you must understand that when you put a dog park someplace, it turns into dirt, right? Because running around so much, the grass disappears. So wherever you're going to locate a dog park, like in Manoa Valley Park, I would suggest, I mean, there's a noise element involved with also dogs. So we have to be polite. I would suggest making it away from homes as much as possible, and in an area where it's not visually abhorrent to have no grass. Other than that, I have a great affinity for the idea of a dog park.
So I'll go to Ellen Sofio in person, then we'll go to Amy McKenna online. But Ellen Sofio, you can go ahead.
I just wanted to second. I agree with both people who have spoken so far. Definitely, you go to Diamond Head Dog Park and you see lots of dirt, and so I don't know if like sprinklers would help with that, or what could help with that. But I do agree. I had a dog for a long time, that I didn't for a while, and I now have a dog again, and for him to be able to run off leash is, like the other gentleman said, it is so healthy. There's the fact that a lot of dogs never get off leash, they never get to run at full speed, and to not have a place, that's close. I have to now, if I want to take my dog off leash, technically, put him in the car, drive him to a park, get out. I mean, it's a really big ordeal. But it's really healthy for the dogs. I think it makes the dogs better. And it really does build the community. I've met some of the nicest people through our associations with the dogs. So I think it is absolutely a community builder, that is great for dogs, great for owners. I've even seen people who would like dogs, but they don't have dogs, and they love coming to pet the dogs and see them play and run and together.
All right, thanks. And Ellen Sofio, go ahead.
I have a little bit of a hearing problem, so I wasn't sure if the first gentleman was saying also that he's in favor of an off-leash dog park, but I think he did. And I basically agree with everybody that's spoken so far. And we're very fortunate that those of us that have dogs in the valley have been able to take advantage of what's already been available, just sort of spontaneously, not formally, up at Mānoa. And I think it's from what I've seen as someone who's frequented that place at the district park with my neighbor's two big dogs, one of which is a husky, which huskies really need to run. And, most dogs really need to run, and they need to socialize too. So it's just a wonderful environment for them up there, and I don't see that there's any problem at this point. So I'm hoping that whatever is voted on today can just help to perpetuate what we're already enjoying here in the valley. And the dogs. Thank you.
So there's a person named Deanne who has their hand raised online. Could you please say your name and go ahead?
Yes, my name's David Nash, and I wanted to come in and just say I'm in support of the dog park of the district park. I frequently take my dog down there to the laissez-faire off-leash dog park as it exists today. And I was part of the Macaulay Mo'ili neighborhood board when we got the Alawai dog park installed. So I think it's very important for Manoa Valley. We have about 7,000 households with about 2,800 dogs in the neighborhoods and about 20,000 residents. So the fact that there's only maybe a couple hundred people being able to utilize it right now who can trust their dog to not run off through the neighborhood outside of a fenced area. I think there's a lot more demand than is being met right now. For a few $1,000s, we should be able to fence in the existing area as it is right now. People have brought up the dirt issue. Manoa is quite a bit wetter than Diamond Head. Diamond Head is de facto a desert, so I don't think keeping grass growing in Manoa is probably going to be much of a concern. And anyway, that's it. I'm in support of the dog park. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And I saw a raised hand from Ellen Watson. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. We already kind of went through this issue with a lot of community feedback and a discussion about it. And we already said when the Parks and Rec people were here asking about it, that Robert Zane and I were going to try to follow the city as a recipe to establish dog parks. And Robert and I are going to do that. So it seems kind of odd that we're again finding ourselves with just getting a bunch of opinions, and the board already said, yeah, it's great we have unleashed dog walking areas, and yes, we would like an off-leash dog park at Manoa District Park. So I think we're good. And so I don't know why we're having this discussion again.
I can
of the same
explain that.
points we already
I think you
been
missed the
there,
earlier
done
part.
that. So
Ellen, I think you missed the earlier part of the discussion. David, can you explain to Ellen one more time why we're having
Yeah,
this again?
yeah. So
yeah, so we
the
need
reason
to
is
vote,
because
write a
the-
letter.
so
Ellen,
Vote on
Ellen.
a letter to
So-
the city that says, yes,
No, listen.
we want an on-leash and
Ellen.
off-leash dog park.
Ellen, please.
That's all we need to do.
Ellen,
So the reason why it's back on the agenda is because people from the cities, we didn't have a formal vote last time, and people from the city want us to take a formal vote to endorse or not endorse the idea, which is why it's back on the agenda. So, Member Zane, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I just wanted to touch back on what you wanted to give you an opportunity to say what you wanted to say about my question, whether or not we have to be more specific on the location of said dog park, or just a general, we as neighborhood board support the idea of having an unleashed dog park located within Mānoa District Park.
Thanks. 1 second. We're just seeing if there's anyone else online.
I see a hand
calling
raised from
Mauna
Mauna
Kea
Kea Trask.
Trask. Mauna Kea Trask, please go ahead.
I was gonna tell you something interesting.
Well, thank you for the time. I think that I see, I kind of like what I hear and I understand where everyone's coming from. But personally, I think that status quo is fine. I don't see the need for a dog park. I think everyone in Manoa treats their dogs pretty well. And I'm concerned more about the costs outweighing the benefits of what we're going to get. Now, the dogs can kind of go leash or unleash as it is now. And I just think adding the fences, increasing the dirt, and the maintenance costs associated therewith just isn't worth it. So thank you.
Okay, so Tom Heinrich.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Tom Heinrich. This issue has been over 30 years in terms of the ebb and flow on the discussion of dog park, yes or no, and then how to do it, et cetera. What has changed considerably is in fact is far greater opening now by the Department of Parks and Recreation to in fact provide and gauge the community interest. I would well recommend and urge the Manoa Neighborhood Board to adopt a formal resolution that first indicates both a desire for on-leash and off-leash dog park areas in the Manoa Neighborhood Board District. Obviously, the main focus is on Manoa Valley District Park, of which there are several locations at the park. I would be less concerned about the details for this particular motion at this time, but also note that the Department of Parks and Recreation is moving ahead far faster than it ever has before on older proposals, such as still just across the street from this neighborhood board district, and that is the off-leash fenced-in area that is being installed at Punahou Square, right there at the intersection of Punahou and Wilder, and as well considerable discussion now as to locations for a fenced-in area at Makiki District Park. So the department, for the first time in years, is actually very supportive, and I would encourage the board to move forward on a motion in support. But some of the other details, as Member Watson has indicated, if she and Member Zane and others can also work with others to identify more of the specifics, that will come in time following a motion in support at the first issue. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. So I'm going to ask for any motions if anyone's going to make them in a minute. I'll just note very briefly, I did talk to a couple people, Gail Barron and a couple others who go to the off-leash dog area at Manoa Valley District Park, who basically told me that they like the way things currently work, and they're concerned that if we were to make a formal dog park with a fence, then that could make things not work as great anymore. So that's just one thing that I wanted to mention from what I've been told by others who aren't at the meeting today. But at this point, I think we've all discussed it. We have a lot on the agenda, so I'll just ask, does anyone want to make a motion to endorse or not endorse, and if so, Member Fox?
Yes, I will make a motion for the Neighborhood Board of Manoa to support off-leash dog parks located in Manoa Valley District Park only.
I'll second it.
With details to be discussed later.
Okay, so just sorry. There's a Go ahead, Member Zane.
Point of order on Member Fox. If I could make a friendly amendment to what you just said, adding, as per Tom Heinrich's suggestion, in support of an off-leash and on-leash dog parks within the Manoa Valley District Park. Will that be okay?
If I can respond to that, there's a difference between an off-leash dog park and an on-leash dog park. They usually are not synonymous with each other. Who the hell is calling me? It's ridiculous. Turn my phone off. So the setup and the arrangement for a leash park for dogs is quite different, as a matter of fact, from an off-leash dog park. When you have you have to construct it in such a way where the leashes don't tangle with each other and stuff. It's really, I mean, I've set up 4 dog parks in my life. So I'm thinking off-leash is a good first step. And then if we want to come up with a plan later like I said, more details to come. For a leash park, great. But again, I don't want to give up most of Manoa's park site for dog park. I want to give specifically Manoa District Park, which has the space and the distance because of noise, and the fact that there's not going to be any grass, right? So I'm not sure if I'm willing to accept that amendment right at the moment. Sorry.
Okay, so the motion on the table made by Fox, seconded by Watson, is to endorse off-leash dog parks in Manoa Valley District Park with other details to be determined at a future time. Member Bosel?
Can I ask a question? Member Fox, did you say you have been involved in setting up multiple off-leash? Can you tell me, is there an average size for an off-leash dog park to be like a minimum size that's successful?
Actually, we found, you lived in Long Beach for a long time, right? And so we built a off-leash dog park at Bixby Park. And it was a 3-section park, but we gave it only about half a block. And it turned out to be a credible failure. Because again, we found out that dogs become more aggressive in a more confined space. So you need to give enough space for dogs naturally not to have that aggressive instinct. So approximately an acre is required to keep dogs really calm all the time. So we made one at Recreation Park instead, and we put one on Granada Beach on the ocean. Those worked out really well. So whether we go up to an acre or not, I know that a half a block is not large enough.
So in your opinion, an acre would be a successful off-leash dog park at the Manoa Valley District Park. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Going to Member Zane on Zoom.
Thank you. We can discuss the details about this later. And I would say that we just go with the vote at this time with the motion for an off-leash dog park. We can talk with everybody about the details later.
Okay, and I'll just add that however the vote goes, I'll make it clear to the person with the city that we haven't figured out details, and I will suggest to him that he should come to our meetings himself to discuss with us directly before he does anything. Member Moylan?
So I'd like to speak on the motion. The majority of people who are currently allowed to use every square foot of the park don't own dogs. Okay, as we heard from one of the previous speakers, about 35% of people own dogs. That matches up with what I've seen before. And we've also heard that if you really want to be successful, it should be about an acre. We've also heard that say goodbye to the grass. If we had excess or infinite park space for human beings, I'd say great. I don't see the point of an on-leash dog park because that's what the park currently is now. People can take their dogs to the park and do whatever they want. The real purpose of a dog park is for dogs to run free the way they're meant to do, but they need a lot of space to do that. So when you acquire a dog, you're basically saying, I'm taking in a pet that needs a lot of space. Oh, gee, I don't have any of that space myself. Well, the city has to give it to me. I guess I don't buy that. I think that I would hate to give up an acre of people space for the minority of us that have dogs. So I'm not really in favor of dog parks at all, unless you have so much park space, you don't know what to do with it. And I don't think that's really where we are. I'd rather keep the park space for the people.
In the interest of
Could
time,
I say something?
sorry. Okay, go ahead. And then after McKenna finishes, then we're just going to call for the vote and move to the next item. So go ahead.
I agree with Monica and a few others that kind of like what's going on. A lot of people do like let their dogs off leash, at 8 a.m. in the morning and like 5 p.m. at night. And it seems to be working out well. I'm sure occasionally a dog wanders off or runs up to somebody who's not, expecting to see a dog. That does happen occasionally, but all of the dogs, I go sometimes twice a day. And no scuffles. I mean, the people who bring their dogs and let them off leash or bring them on leash as well. The dogs are very well behaved. But if I think the no grass, the dirt portion is what happens when there is a small area. But I feel like the area that is on the Lowry side of the baseball fields, it's a very long strip. And if that entire thing, if you were talking about fencing in an area, if that entire from the parking lot to the back of the
But we're getting
stream,
into the details again.
yes, but I'm just saying that's the other gentleman said, like, we don't want to give up space for people that don't have dogs, but that space there is not really big enough for anything else. And most of the people that use it are bringing their dogs there anyway. So I feel like that space is a good usable space if we were to have a fenced in area. It's not that usable for
Chair?
anything else. So that would
Okay.
be my recommendation.
All right, thanks. And for time, we're just going to end discussion there. Again, the motion is for us to endorse an off-leash dog park in Manoa Valley District Park with other details to be determined. So Anson, do a roll call vote, please.
Okay, when I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Zane?
In favor?
Okay. Watson?
Yes.
Okay. Bozo?
Yes.
Okay. Nagaji?
Yes.
Okay. Fukumoto?
Yes.
Okay. Lee?
Yes.
Okay. Goff?
Yes.
Okay. Chong?
Yes.
Moylan? Nope. Okay. Quano?
Yes.
Okay. Fox? And Mashrecky?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. The motion passes.
All right, motion passes. And again, I'll make clear the details are TBD. I'll suggest that the guy at the city who's handling this come and talk to our board so you can get more details on it before anything happens. But now, Member Watson's joined us. We're going to go to the items that she requested. Some of it was drafted by me. Some of it was drafted by Member Fukumoto. I have all the copies here. So first of them is board business item number B. Item letter B, resolution requesting the city's Department of Transportation Services to install 2 additional stop signs at the intersection of Manoa Road and Oahu Avenue / Paulina Street. Mayor Fukumoto, do you want to read it?
Yeah, so I'll read the resolution and then if Anson could put up, yes, that photo. It said that a picture represents 1,000 words, so I think that'll help people understand what this is about, but it's just adding 2 additional stop signs at this particular intersection. So this is a resolution requesting the city's Department of Transportation Services to install 2 additional stop signs at the intersection of Mānoa Road and Oahu Avenue, Pawaina Street or Pawaina Street. And so the resolution reads, whereas the intersection of Manoa Road with Oahu Avenue, Pawaina Street is the major intersection on Manoa Road, Mauka, of the 5-way intersection by approximately 1 mile. And whereas because Manoa Road at this point is the widest road in Manoa Valley, motorists tend to speed more than 30 miles per hour, especially when traveling downhill in the Makai direction. And whereas motorists attempting to turn left into Manoa Road from Pawaina can experience substantial wait times due to the proximity of Manoa Elementary School's augmenting morning rush hour traffic, tourist vehicles going to and from Manoa Falls, and substantial foot traffic in the afternoons from joggers and walkers. And whereas motorists trying to cross Manoa Road from Oahu Avenue to get to Pawaina, have to negotiate a semi-blind curve made worse due to parked cars, as well as motorists speeding Makai down valley are in danger of being broadsided. And therefore, be it resolved that the Manoa Neighborhood Board number 7 requests that the city's Department of Transportation Services install stop signs in both directions on Manoa Road at the intersection of Manoa Road and Oahu Avenue, Pawaina Street, to create an intersection with 4 stop signs.
and therefore be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the city and county of Honolulu, blah, blah, blah. Could I have the picture up, Anson? I'd like to move from behind here. Thank you. Oops, sorry. All right, so this is the intersection at issue. And I've taken this from the point of view of how dangerous it is. So I live on this side and I'm coming out here and hoping to cross this intersection. Here's Mānoa Road. So the stop line is back here. So technically I have to stop back here, but as you can see, there are parked cars here. And so in order to see whether any cars are coming down valley, I have to stick my nose up. I stop here where I'm supposed to legally stop, and then I inch my way out. And by the way, when I say I mean all the other people who live in my quadrant of Mānoa Valley. So I have to stick my neck out and peer around this parked car to hope that there aren't any cars coming down the valley. And now they do go faster than 30 miles an hour because it's a wide street. And so all the cars trying to peer around the parked cars here are in danger of being broadsided. So every time there are parked cars here and I have to look around, you got to be very careful. On the other hand, there are cars coming up valley, they tend to speed as well. And so sometimes I'm looking only in this direction, and the cars who come up from the valley, they're speeding at maybe 35 to 40. And by the time I've committed myself to be in the intersection, I suddenly realize, oh my God, there's a car that's coming toward me this side. And at this particular point, I'm like a deer in the headlights. I'm not sure what to do. And yeah, I'm in my early 70s. 10 years from now, my reflexes will be even slower. Not only that, but there are a lot of kupuna, there are a lot of people older than I am who are trying to negotiate this particular intersection. So for the safety of people trying in this direction, yes, I'd like a four-way stop. Thank you. And I believe Member Watson is going to speak about the other people.
Okay, so I'm going to ask your motion. I'll just note very briefly that we have a lot on the agenda, so I am going to enforce time pretty strictly, but I'll ask, does anyone want to make a motion to pass this resolution?
I make the motion to pass the resolution.
You have a second? Our motion is
I
made by
second
Member
the
Watson,
motion.
seconded by Fukumoto. Opening up the discussion.
Chair, yeah,
Yeah, Member Watson, go ahead.
okay. Thank you. I live to get to my house is the other side of Pavina, opposite Mānoa Road from Elton's house. And when I'm coming out Pavina to turn left on Mānoa Road, it is very difficult to get out with the cars coming up, going toward Paradise Park and the ones coming down the other way. So I support Elton on this, and we've exchanged that this is dangerous for either way, either side you're coming out of Pavina. So this is something that Andrew Garrett had mentioned, that's a good place for a four-way stop because it slows the people down on Mānoa Road that tend to pick up speed, and it allows people to be able to make their turn out of Pavina. So Pavina already has 2 stop signs. We need 2 stop signs on Mānoa Road. It's a four-way stop. It acts as speed control or kind of a brake to stop the traffic from along Mānoa Road and lets the people get out of the valley, you either go out Pavina or you have to go out past the cemetery out East Manoa Road. That's the only way out of the valley on my side. And so I think we should pass the resolution and then we'll see what the city says. Yeah, we can only advise. So the resolution is just asking that question, and probably Representative Garrett will support that as well.
All right, thanks. Member Bosel, go ahead.
Looking at this map and talking with Member Fukumoto, there's also this other Pavina Halilani intersection with Manoa Road. Can I just double check? There's no stop sign there. There's no stop signs anywhere after the 5-way intersection, right? I'm on the other side of the valley, so I kind of forget.
Yeah, there is no stop signs.
Would it be useful to add one also at Halilani Pavina for those folks on that side?
No, because people are only turning right off of Manoa Road to that. It's not like Pavina here is crossing the street. So you got people going straight, turning left or turning right. So that's why we need one at this intersection.
Oh,
Okay, any further discussion? Anyone online? Oh, Member Fox, go ahead.
I'm sorry to put a glitch in this jam, but we're in a very unusual year this year where we don't have any guarantee of federal funds coming in to Honolulu or Hawaii because we have a weird new government in Washington. We're going to be very judicious. We're going to have to be very judicious about how we spend money. So I think wishes and desires are really good, but I think we have to leave this to the traffic engineer whose expertise this is as to whether this is an appropriate response, because it's certainly not mine. I drive that route every 2 weeks for folk dancing. So I've never had a problem there. Do we have any documentation of how many accidents have happened in that corner? I don't see that presented tonight.
may I ask, are you only driving down Manoa Road?
Yes, Manoa Road.
I think the issue is for those crossing. That's where the safety issue.
And I understand that, but remember, I think I live on University Avenue. You want to try difficult driving, try to back out of a carport on University Avenue. I understand it's difficult, but I think, again, this is what is our responsibility as a neighborhood board? We can recommend, that's true. But I think first we should have a good investigation as to what is the critical mass here. Have there been any accidents? And if so, how many and in what frequency? If there's an issue that we need to address, I'm in full support of it. But if on the fact it's just inconvenient, I'm not sure if those are the dollars we want to spend.
I'm going to let Member Moylan, did you want to play? So I'll let Member Moylan go, then Member Bosel go, then Tom Heinrich go, and then we're going to close discussion and vote. Go ahead.
It's a perfectly reasonable thing for people on the neighborhood board to identify a traffic issue and say, hey, I think we have an issue here. Let's propose a solution to it and see if it flies up. The precedent we've set takes place a block away from this proposal, the 5 corners, where for months we've had a committee working on this. We came up to the board and then the question is, well, how practical is it? You have to find from the city traffic engineer whether it's possible or impractical or what are the data on accidents. Apparently it had been looked at a while ago and found out that there weren't an unusual number of accidents there. So you couldn't make the safety argument. The safety argument is a winning argument for any one of these things, but you can't make it at the 5 corners. The 5 corners argument is a traffic flow argument, the huge backup that occurs at those 5 corners at commuter rush. So if we're going to propose, I didn't know I could sing that high. Another traffic mitigation, we should use the same precedent. We should say, okay, in this resolution, it says, we think it's dangerous. Okay, that should be documented. It shouldn't be, we're afraid. It should be, we know this is dangerous, and so the city has to mitigate it. It is absolutely true. It's crowded. That's true. But whether there's any real danger has not been established. So just as this board told our committee to go back to the drawing board and find out whether the 5 corners solution was practical or not, I think there needs to be, as Robert was saying, a lot more justification for this than someone thinks it's dangerous. We have to document that it really is. And if we end up spending money on that, that would be one reason that they might say, we already bought you that 4-way stop sign a block away, so now we're not going to fix your 5 corners intersection. That would be a very discouraging eventuality.
All right, just checking. Is mic working? All right, it is. Going to Member Bosel.
That's okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
defer.
So going into Tom Heinrich, and then he'll be last word, then we'll just move on to a vote in the interest of time.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Tom Heinrich. By quick comparison, after many, many months and many variations, ultimately a 4-way stop was the solution that got put in by the city at the intersection of Lowry and Woodlawn. That's a whole different history. For the location that's being talked about, I also would urge the neighborhood board to pass this motion in order to forward the concern to the city and the Department of Transportation Services. All the things that I just heard as to reasons or things that the board should do before asking those who keep those records and can compare where are we with the Complete Streets program for this area? Where are we with the bicycle and pedestrian plans? All these other things which also overlay that intersection because of its location and proximity to Paradise Park, Manoa Falls, Lion Arboretum, et cetera. I think the essence of the motion is simply, can we have this looked at? It seems that there is interest in having a 4-way stop there. And my own experience over the years at that location is it's a good idea. Okay, thank you, Chair.
All right, Anson, I'm going to close the discussion now. Do the roll call vote, please.
Okay, want to call your name. This is for the resolution to install 2 additional stop signs at the intersection. Want to call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Zane?
Aye.
Okay, Watson?
Yes.
Okay, Bozo?
Yes.
Okay, Nagaji?
Yes.
Fukumoto?
Yes.
Okay, Lee?
Yes.
Okay, Koff?
Yes.
Chong?
Yes.
Moylan? Okay, Kawano?
Yes.
Okay, Fox?
No.
Oh, and Mashrecky?
Yes.
That's 10 yes and 2 no's. The motion passes.
All right, thank you, Anson. Going to our next item. This is item C on board business, resolution supporting Senator Fukunaga's bill limiting future increases to stormwater utilities. Elton, did you want to read this or do you want me to read it? It's up to you.
Chair, could you read it?
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is by request of Member Watson. I believe Member Fukumoto and Member Watson drafted together. So title is Resolution Supporting Legislation to Repeal the Authority of the Counties to Establish and Charge User Fees to Create and Maintain Stormwater Management Systems or Infrastructure. Whereas the Alawai Watershed Collaboration commissioned a report from the international law firm of Baker McKinsey, a report which set out ways to establish a stormwater utility fee for users within the Alawai watershed, including setting up a special improvement district. And whereas in 2019 and 2021, the City Department of Facility Maintenance held public outreach and community meetings regarding a proposed stormwater utility fee. And whereas due to overwhelming negative community responses to the proposed stormwater utility fee, neither the City Department of Facility Maintenance nor the Caldwell administration in 2019 to 2022 introduced a bill instituting a fee. And whereas on June 4th, 2025, the Honolulu City Council passed the bill 60 of 2024, instituting a sewer rate increase for the median water user of 63% over the next 6 years. And whereas the 4 city council members who voted against this bill stated that they were alternative means of funding the sewer system upgrades without assessing the higher fees upon water users. And whereas a stormwater utility fee on top of a sewer fee increase would constitute 2 fee increases concurrently. And whereas in the first half of 2025, a draft of a city council bill for an ordinance circulated among the city council and this ordinance, excuse me, let me start over. Whereas in the first half of 2025, a draft of a city council bill for an ordinance circulated among the city council, and this ordinance would institute a special improvement district for the Alwai watershed, establishing that special improvement district as a nonprofit corporation, but not giving the special improvement district the power to assess a stormwater fee. And whereas if the bill establishing a special improvement district for the Alwai were passed, then with the special improvement district structure in place, the power to assess could be added later. And whereas the special improvement district as a nonprofit corporation would not be required to have any public input, and whereas the amount of the assessed fee per user would be determined by the area of the impermeable surface on the property. For example, a residential homeowner in Mānoa with a 1,000 square foot roof would be assessed the same fee as the owner of a 38-story hotel in Waikiki for its 1,000 square foot roof portion. And whereas although this draft bill instituting an SID was circulated, it was never introduced. And whereas the draft bill for a city ordinance creating an SID for the Alwai watershed may conflict with Chapter 28 of the revised ordinances of Honolulu, the person circulating the draft ordinance did not read Chapter 28 that way, making it desirable for additional legislation to prevent the assessment of a stormwater utility fee. And therefore be it resolved, the Mānoa Neighborhood Board Number 7 urges that a bill repealing the authority of the counties to assess a stormwater utility fee be introduced in and passed by the Hawaii State Legislature. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the governor of the state of Hawaii and the lieutenant governor, all members of the Hawaii State Legislature, the mayor of the city and county of Honolulu, and all members of the Honolulu City Council. So do we have a motion to pass that resolution? Yes?
I make that motion.
Hold on, Member Fox has a point of order.
I have a point of order, Ellen, and I do not like being interrupted. I try to be polite with me. I always try to be polite with you. Here's the thing that's bothering me. We have elected officials here, and they have to wait through all of this stuff. We've got 6 propositions on this agenda tonight from Ellen Watson. I love her, but I mean, honestly, are all of us allowed to put 6 things on the agenda every month? Come on, something's wrong here. And I think that in politeness to our elected officials, we should have them speak first, come back to this agenda item after we give them the politeness to come forward and talk to us. Is that a reasonable thing to ask, Chair?
So, Member Watson, you made the motion for the resolution. Do we have a second? Member Fukumoto? Okay, discussion.
Yes, could I begin, Chair?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Chair, for reading this. It's quite complicated, but I think considering that you did not write it, you read it quite well. So everybody, I'm going to try to make this simple. Many of you might have gotten in the mail this notice of the sewer fee change. I got this on Monday. 63% increase in 6 years for the average user. The stormwater utility fee would be in addition. So people don't realize that there's more than one system. There's the sewer system and there's the stormwater utility system. And there are people who want to charge you an additional fee for stormwater, but they don't want to do it in the traditional way, which was take it before the city council, have it discussed. They want to do it in a manner which is slightly more complicated. So they were circulating a draft ordinance which would establish a special improvement district. Now there are 4 other special improvement districts, but they do not, those special improvement districts have given those SIDs the power to assess a fee. The ordinance that was passed around did not give that particular fee assessing power to this special improvement district. So it seemed like, well, what's the problem? They're not going to be able to assess a fee. So, let's establish this special improvement district. The problem is a special improvement district is a very unusual legal entity. It's a nonprofit corporation set up by the city. And the thing about a corporation is it can have closed door meetings, so it doesn't need public input to make its decisions. So if you have a special improvement district and you later add the power to assess, people are not going to understand that the impact of this could be that they will be assessed a fee, but they will not even know that this will be happening. Moreover, the fee is going to be charged in a way that penalizes homeowners, because you will be charged, let's say you have 1,000-foot square foot roof, you'll be charged at the same rate as a hotel owner for 1,000 foot of that hotel owner's hotel. And so this is a way of the Waikiki hotel owners cost shifting to the private property, the homeowners in the Alawai watershed. But you wouldn't be able to complain about that because all of this would be done in the happenings of a nonprofit corporation, which does not have to have public hearings. So these are some of my objections. And therefore, what we're asking for is for this board to support a repeal in the state legislature of the county's ability to assess this sort of fee by changing the state statute. Thank you.
So in the interest of time, we can take a couple of more comments or questions. Anyone online, Anson? I see Member Watson has a hand raised. Go ahead. Member Watson, you're muted. You got to unmute yourself. Press the space bar.
Thank you. Let me simplify. Basically, our state legislature passed a bill a while back, a few years back, allowing the city and county to implement a new utility, like we pay board of water supply, electric, whatever, a whole new utility to manage stormwater, even though we pay for that in our property taxes already. And they will just assess it by satellite photos of your roof area and your driveway area, and you will be charged that, and it will increase every year. And so Senator Fukunaga is going to introduce a bill to repeal that portion so that the city and county of Honolulu cannot assess another utility on the people. We already pay for that in our property taxes. And as Elton said, it's unfair to homeowners, individual homeowners, because a condo, for instance, can split the cost among all their tenants, all their floors of their however many condo units they have in it. And the one who's going to bear the brunt is the homeowner that has a home and a yard and a roof and all of that. And you will not be able to get out of it. So Senator Fukunaga is willing to introduce that. She would like a resolution in favor to support that from our board. And she'll introduce it when the legislative session opens. And I think that we support her on that, and let's see what happens. Again, it has to go through the legislative process. We're just supporting our senator. That's all.
All right, I'll take just one more question, and then we're going to move on for time. Sorry, I'm just going to ask because Elton went on. Is there anyone else who wants to go? I'll let Dylan go, and then we're just gonna have to move on for time because we have a lot on. So Dylan, go ahead.
Okay. My name's Dylan P. Armstrong. I was Manoa Neighborhood Board Chairman at the time at which the presentation for a prospective utility was brought to, I believe it was Noelani Elementary School. This was about 4 years ago. I don't have a particular stance on the resolution. What I do have a particular stance on is that when you're introducing complex subject matter, which you should, it's best to begin in a neutral fashion, such as having a presentation. We're not all coming in with the same level of familiarity about this, but I can specifically recall information from that presentation, which is key context, which is being left out of this discussion. First off, the reason why the stormwater utility was proposed as beneficial was because many large entities and large landowners are currently exempt from property taxes. That would be your religious institutions and the United States military. Therefore, whether you are in favor or against the idea of the stormwater utility, you have to bring up that the reason for it is to actually equalize the burden of taxation on all water users, and that it was specifically mentioned that the utility could potentially lower our cost as homeowners, whether or not you agree. And I think it's very important that you begin these discussions with neutral, contextual analysis. If you become a bull charging in a china shop saying this is the worst thing since the murder of Jesus Christ, we already know that it's bad, but we don't know why anyone supports it. How did we get there is what I'm trying to say. And this board, I think, has so much opportunity to talk about the big issues. You should keep talking about these issues that affect us, but there are some major issues that are not on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
All right. So I'm sorry, Elton, we have a lot on the agenda. We're almost halfway through our time. In the interest of time, I'm going to need to close discussion and ask Anson for a roll call vote.
Okay, this is for the resolution to support the repeal authority of the counties to establish charge user fees. Okay, when I call your name, please say yes or abstain. Zane?
Aye.
Okay. Watson? Yes.
You're muted, I think. You got to say it again.
You're muted again.
Yes.
Okay. Bozel?
No.
No. Okay. Nagaji?
Yes.
Okay. Fukumoto?
Yes.
Okay. Lee? Lee? Just gonna skip it. Cough?
Abstain.
Abstain. Lee? You're back.
Yes.
Okay. Diane Chong?
Yes.
Moylan? Nope. Okay. Quano?
Yes.
Robert Fox? Nope. Okay. Joseph Masharkey?
Yes.
Okay. That's only 8 yeses, 3 nos, and 1 abstain. The motion does not pass.
Thank you, Anson. Moving to our next item on board business, item C. This is letter requesting signs that specify a 5-way stop at the intersection of Wahoo Avenue, Manoa Road, and Lowry Avenue. So I'm going to go ahead and read the draft letter, and then we'll ask for motion to approve it or not. So to Director J. Roger Morton, Department of Transportation Services, City and County of Honolulu, 701 Kapolani Boulevard, Suite 1600. Aloha, Director Morton. For traffic safety reasons, the Manoa Neighborhood Board, number 7, would like to request changes to the stop signs posted at the intersection of Manoa Road, Wahoo Avenue, and Lowry Avenue. The intersection of these 3 roads creates a 5-way stop for vehicles, commonly referred to as the 5-way or 5 corners. Currently, this intersection has 5 stop signs that read "Stop All Way." This location is one of the very few 5-way intersections on the island. Consequently, there is a recurring complaint heard both during Manoa Neighborhood Board meetings and outside of our meetings that many people come to this intersection and mistakenly believe that they are entering a four-way stop rather than a five-way stop. Such a misunderstanding is especially dangerous for people who are driving into Manoa Valley via Manoa Road or Oahu Avenue, as it can be difficult for a person entering the valley via Oahu Avenue to see vehicles entering the valley via Manoa Road on their left. In the past, this intersection had signage that specifically warned drivers of an upcoming five-way stop. A return to this more specific signage would improve safety by giving drivers unfamiliar with this intersection adequate notice that they are entering a five-way intersection. Therefore, the Manoa Neighborhood Board Number 7 suggests that the 5 signs at the intersection of Manoa Road, Oahu Avenue, and Laurie Avenue that currently warn of an all-way stop be replaced or changed to instead warn of a five-way stop. And I just give my contact information, and it's sent on behalf of the members and officers of our board to Mayor Glangiardi, Lawyer Yonaka, the director of the Neighborhood Commission Office, and all members of the Honolulu City Council, in addition to the Department of Transportation Services. So that's the letter. Do we have a motion to approve it?
I make the motion.
Member Watson makes the motion. And, okay, so Member Watson made the motion. Member Fukumoto.
I'll second.
Sorry, Phil, we already got one from Member
Oh.
Fukumoto. So we're going into discussion now. Sorry, I'll call Member Moylan first, then Kevin Thornton. Member Moylan, go ahead.
Okay, as many of you realize, last year, 4 of us in a committee, and this year, 2 of us have continued working the issue about this intersection to see whether it would be feasible to have some sort of a traffic circle there or not. After all these months, I was granted an audience with Kelly Akasaki, the chief of the city's Transportation Engineering Division. She wrote up 2 different possible alignments. So at a previous meeting, we heard that it might be impossible or it might be difficult. Turns out it's the second, but it's not impossible. And so they've done some work on this for us, and they're anticipating a resolution from us asking to look into this. It might turn out to be too expensive. It might turn out to be this, might turn out to be that, but it would certainly obviate the need for this other alternative. Let's take all the stop signs and have them say 5-way instead of 4-way. I'm not sure on what evidence anyone thinks that would change anything at that intersection. But I'll tell you what it would do. If we pass this motion, then what we've just told that committee is all your work was a waste of time. Don't bother again. If you wait until next month when we come back to you with a resolution, one thing you could put in the resolution would be, if the city chooses not to do the traffic circle, then maybe you could change all the stop signs. But what this motion says right now is, don't bother with that other stuff those other 5 people were doing. Just change the stop signs and that's all we care about. I beg this board not to pass this motion.
Sorry, I'm going to call in Member Watson, then I'll go to Kevin Thornton. Member Watson, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. The stop signs themselves are just regular stop signs. There's a little rectangle sign mounted on the pole under the stop signs that says all-way stop. It used to say 5-way stop, so anybody who comes to the stop sign knows that 5 roads are intersecting and are respectful of that. So I think that we're just asking for those little rectangle signs mounted underneath the stop sign to be installed. And I think it's a very inexpensive thing for the city to do. It accomplishes the objective of letting people know that 5 roads come together there. And then I think then we're good to go. I think that our board has entertained a resolution for a traffic circle at a past board meeting, and our board was not interested in doing that. The city came and did a presentation and say why that's not feasible. So I think we're good to go as long as we let people know that 5 intersect. So I support the motion.
Kevin Thornton, please go ahead.
Hi, Kevin Thornton, Mayor's representative to this neighborhood board. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight. I just wanted to let you all know I don't want to discourage you from sending a letter or anything, but this was mentioned at the last meeting, and so it was already forwarded to Department of Transportation Services. And let me just go ahead and share their response since it's relevant, if I could. So what was forwarded to them was a request to change the verbiage of the stop sign on the four-way intersection, Oahu Avenue, Manila Road, and Lower Avenue from all-way stop to five-way stop. And I'm just going to read the response verbatim. DTS follows the standards set by the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which is the nationally recognized guideline approved by the Federal Highway Administration. According to the current MUTCD, that manual, the term five-way stop has been replaced with all-way to ensure consistent and clear traffic signage. Therefore, the requested change to the signage wording at this location will not be implemented. So just wanted to share that. And then also offer, you know, I had helped set up that conversation with Member Moylan and someone from DTS. Happy to help facilitate communication with DPS. Sometimes those face-to-face conversations are better.
So
but just wanted to share that.
So just to make sure we're totally clear, you're saying that the signage that would be requested by this letter of five-way stop doesn't exist.
They are
used to
saying that
exist.
they're
used
saying
to.
that they follow a national standard, and they are not going to deviate from that standard.
Can an
Member Watson, do you
additional
want to pull the do you want to pull?
signage be
Oh,
put there to let people know it's a five-way? If you want to do your city standards and have a generic use wherever you want, always stop, then how about an additional sign that lets people know it's a five-way? That seems to be the problem. If people know it's a five-way, I think we got no problem in Manoa, and we don't need a traffic circle. And it's Manoa. We're considerate of one another. We just want to know. So maybe you can ask the city that, or our letter of request could say an additional sign that would say five-way intersection or something like that.
so
I'd
Mr.
be
Thornton, do you have
happy.
a response?
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't something I'm knowledgeable about, but I'd be happy to forward that additional question.
Okay. Member Fox, go ahead.
Hi there. It occurs to me that the motion now has been smashed by the mayor's office. And the only question is whether we're going to alter the language of the motion or whether we're actually going to respect what we did before and grant this committee who's worked so hard and made all these connections to follow through with their work. I mean, we have like maps in front of me here that look pretty amazing with possibilities of eminent domain and possibilities of restructuring a sidewalk. And it's like, you know, I'm vice president of Rotary. All this stuff takes a lot of work trying to coordinate with City Hall to get something done. I'm working on the renovation of Chinatown right now. And it seems, I don't know, rude to me to like just rip this out of this committee that's worked so hard to bring us to this point. I can't support this resolution purely because it's impolite. Thank you.
So, Member Watson, is it okay if we pull the motion and revisit it after Mr. Morton gets or
Yeah, I think if the gentleman is going to ask the city if we could add an additional signage that says five-way intersection or something to let the people know, then we don't need this motion. And And I guess just to address Robert Fox's concerns, that Mr. Moylan came with a resolution and this board voted it down to have a roundabout at the five-way already. So I think you were traveling when that happened. So this is not new, and the city already said they didn't really want to do that, and they didn't want to have to condemn land for that, and they don't have the money to maintain it. So this board already voted down Mr. Moylan's motion. It's not like they worked hard and he's bringing a
Sorry,
fresh
can I
motion.
just jump in, Ellen? So remember Moylan, we're discussing your resolution. So we didn't vote the resolution down. He presented it and it was decided that they needed more information. So he was going to check in with some people and get back to us. So it wasn't voted down. It was voluntarily withdrawn to get more information. But in any case, sorry, Mr. Thornton, I think I called you Mr. Morton, but Mr. Thornton, can you follow up with everything Member Watson told you and get us more info and we can revisit this later?
I'd be happy to.
Okay, thanks. So I'm going to go ahead and consider that motion withdrawn unless anyone has an objection to that. So withdrawn because it's been rendered moot. So going now to item E on board business, resolution asking the neighborhood commission to allow, sorry, you're not recognized right now. We got to keep it moving. Item E, resolution asking the neighborhood commission to allow current Mānoa neighborhood board vacancies to be filled on an at-large basis. So I did write this one, and I'm going to go ahead and read it, but just it's about the fact that we have so many vacancies in subdistricts 3 and 4. This is to fill those vacancies and make it so that people who live in subdistrict 1 or subdistrict 2 or wherever in the valley can fill either any of those vacancies in subdistrict 3 and 4. So title of the resolution is resolution asking the neighborhood commission to allow current Mānoa neighborhood board vacancies to be filled on an at-large basis by our board. Whereas the Mānoa neighborhood board number 7 has 17 total seats that are split between 4 different subdistricts. And whereas the MNB number 7 subdistricts have their seats allotted as follows: 3 seats for subdistrict 1, 3 seats for subdistrict 2, 5 seats for subdistrict 3, and 6 seats for subdistrict 4. And whereas the MNB number 7 began the current term, the 2025 to 2027 board term, with a single vacancy in subdistrict 4 and all other vacancies and all their seats filled. Whereas since the beginning of the current board term, a single board member has resigned from subdistrict 3 and 2 board members have resigned from subdistrict 4, which raises the total number of current vacancies to 4 vacancies. Whereas the NCO website keeps records of all neighborhood board meeting agendas, with each agenda noting the number of board vacancies that are eligible to be filled during the board business of each meeting. Whereas by accessing the NCO website and reviewing the agendas from Mānoa neighborhood board number 7 meetings, the chair has manually counted the following statistics for the time period beginning in October of 2021 and ending October 2025. So in other words, 4 years as of last month. So there were 41 meetings, 7 recesses, and 1 cancellation. Subdistrict 1 had 5 meetings where there was a single vacancy. Subdistrict 2 had 1 meeting where there was a single vacancy. Subdistrict 3 had 22 meetings where there was at least 1 vacancy. For Subdistrict 3, of those 22, 14 of them, there was 1 vacancy. 8 of them, there were 2 vacancies. Subdistrict 4 had 41 meetings, which is all the meetings where there was at least 1 vacancy. During 12 of those for Subdistrict 4, Subdistrict 4 had 1 vacancy in 12 of them. Subdistrict 4 had 2 vacancies in 7 of those meetings. Subdistrict 4 had 3 vacancies in 13 of those meetings. Subdistrict 4 had 4 vacancies in 3 of the meetings, and Subdistrict 4 had 5 vacancies in 6 of the meetings. So whereas the above statistics show that during the past 4 years, Mānoa neighborhood board number 7, Subdistrict 3 has had at least 1 vacancy at more than half of the board's meetings, while Subdistrict 4 has had at least 1 vacancy at every meeting. And whereas the above statistics show that during the past 4 years, Subdistricts 3 and 4 frequently have not only a single vacancy, but rather multiple vacancies. And whereas long-term vacancies impede the functionality of the Mānoa neighborhood board number 7 by making it more difficult for us to obtain quorum and conduct board business, whereas the neighborhood commission is authorized by section 2-15-108B2 of the neighborhood plan to change the representation of the members on a board from subdistricts to the district at large. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mānoa neighborhood board is requested to allow, be it resolved that the neighborhood commission is requested to allow the Mānoa neighborhood board number 7 to fill its vacant seats on an at-large basis, so that vacant seats can be filled by anyone within the bounds of Mānoa neighborhood board number 7 as a whole, regardless of subdistrict, effective immediately and to stay in effect until the end of the current board term, the 2025-2027 board term. And be it finally resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to each member of the Neighborhood Commission, the mayor of the city and county of Honolulu, each city council member, the governor of the state, and all members of the Hawaii State Legislature. So that's the resolution asking for the NCO to let us do this. So we can have at-large appointments for our vacancies. Do we have a motion to adopt this resolution?
I make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Sorry, I saw Fukumoto first. So made by Watson, second by Fukumoto, or we're open for discussion. Member Moylan.
Yes, I appreciate all the research you did on this, Mr. Chair. It's very useful information. And one thing that jumps out, since the research is based on more meetings than I've ever attended, the two subdistricts that each currently have 3 seats are typically always full. And the two subdistricts that have more seats always have vacancies. If we turned everything into at-large, that would defeat the purpose that the sub-districts are obviously intended for, which is to make sure you get representation from all 4 corners of the valley. But we don't have to completely throw the baby out with the bathwater. So the friendly amendment I would propose would be that we request that we have 3 seats for each of the 4 sub-districts and then 5 at-large seats. So we'd still have the same membership, but we'd be guaranteed to have the number of seats that we've always seems to have been able to fill, and then we can make the other ones at large. And our state senator has been kind enough to draft a bill we'll be talking about later to help us so that empty seats don't count against a quorum, one of the more absurd things in our current thing. So if we made some of them at large and they didn't count against a quorum, that might really fix our problem. So that's a proposed substitute, an amendment, a friendly amendment. Would you be willing to say instead of all 17 at large,
So, sorry.
5 at large?
If I can just clarify, so we can only change the number of at-large seats and the number of district seats at the end of every board term. So that could be a different resolution that will become effective in about a year and a half. This resolution is for a temporary measure for the remainder of this board term only to allow vacancies to be filled on an at-large basis.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Chair, you're clarifying that this resolution is to temporarily fix this until a year and a half from now, and then we have this discussion again? Here's why I'm asking that question. I'd support this because it's on the right track, but I think we have too many members on this board. This is the largest neighborhood board in the state. It's time for us. I realize that we are the most political valley in the entire state too, but it's a little onerous. We talked before, you need an odd number, and I get that. So with 3 people in every district, that's 12, and you need 13, so you put an at-large person as 13, or you reduce the seats to 2 and add 1 at-large person, and again, you get an odd number and easier to get a quorum. At least people
Chair,
will be
is that for
dedicated.
this motion?
Hold on, Member Fox has the floor. Continue.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify here. It's like, as long as your solution is temporary only, and we can bring this discussion up for a final, really comprehensive restructuring, I think that I would support it.
Yeah, that is correct. This is temporary only for the remainder of this board term, only the next year and a half or so. And we would have opportunities later on at future meetings to discuss long-term changes for future board terms. So I'm going to call on Member Watson and who's the other person? Patty Kawano. Member Watson, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is just to deal with our current existing term. We cannot change the composition of our board, the number of board seats or anything for another year and a half. So the next item on the agenda, which Chair will go over, is for our board to be thinking about, maybe we'll vote in February, if we want to decrease our number of board seats to 9, 11, 13, as long as it's an odd number, and it has to have at least 9, then anything's up for the game. But this is just to fill our current vacancies so that we can have quorum and do business for the next year and a half. That's all.
All right, thank you, Member Watson. Going to Member Quano now, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I like your suggestion, and I've been on the board for about 10 years, and there's always been vacancy in sub-district 3 and 4. I do want to get an understanding about, I don't know if anybody have the history and background, maybe Tom Heinrich, since he's there, he might know a little bit of the history. Why was it divided into 4 sub-district, and how did they come up with the number? Is it based on census of how many residents are in the area, or is it based on square footage of the land? I think that will help us make some good decisions if we understand what the reasoning behind how it was created. Thank you.
Tom Heinrich is approaching.
Thank you, Chair. Tom Heinrich. Let me not go into any of those details. The point to be kept in mind is this. As Member Fox has referred, the bottom line is that the larger changes that this board and others on the island need to consider now in 2025 is how are things working? What is the size of the board? And the Neighborhood Commission is considering some of the larger questions as well for the system of 33 boards overall. But in general, to provide this for Member Kawano, it's a matter that the initiative petition, in other words, the petition submitted by the group of residents back in 1975 in order to participate and create a neighborhood board in the newly created neighborhood board system added to the city charter in 1973 by the 1972 election. It was the community that said, here's how we want to organize. We'd like to have this many members. We want sub-districts or at large. All that detail was left to the community at that time. Where we are now as the Mānoa Neighborhood Board number 7 is no changes have been made to the number of seats, the layout of the sub-districts in greater than 30 years. So in large measure, all of this is very timely for a longer discussion. I speak in support of the limited proposal as presented by this resolution to the Neighborhood Commission, because no matter what, the commission must authorize this temporary change or a permanent change. So one way or another, it's got to go before the commission. Thanks.
All right, thanks. We have 52 minutes left. Anson, I'm going to close. Sorry, real quick, and then we're going to.
Appreciate you letting Brett Kershige, Mānoa resident, I appreciate you letting the residents who are not on the board weigh in. I mean, that's what this is for, right? I'm just speaking for myself. I really think you guys should consider keeping what you have, running the risk of, hey, maybe you don't meet quorum, but to deviate from allowing sub-districts to weigh in, people that live in those areas, rather than have someone else who has a burning interest in a particular issue who doesn't live in that area on a topic that may affect that area, I think is not good. I think it's not democratic. I don't think it speaks to the essence of what a neighborhood board really is. So I think keep things the same. This is, again, I'm just speaking for myself. And if you don't meet quorum for a particular day, you just don't meet quorum. But I think to do otherwise, just for the expediency of it, runs a greater risk. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I see raised hands. We have to move on for time. So Anson, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
When I call your name, please say yes, no, or abstain regarding the a resolution for the Neighborhood Commission to allow current Mānoa neighborhood board vacancies to be filled as at-large basis. Okay, Zane?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Bozo?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay, Nagaji?
Aye.
Okay, Fukumoto?
Aye.
Okay, Lee?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay, Koff?
Aye.
Okay, Chong?
No.
Okay, Moylan? Okay. Guano?
Abstain.
Okay. Fox? Okay. Oshirki?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. There's only 6 yes, 1 no, and 5 abstain. This does not pass.
Motion doesn't pass. Things remain as they are. So I'm sorry, we don't have time. We have to really get through a bunch of stuff.
Very relevant question. Did I miss something or was it asked if anyone wants to step up to the plate?
It was asked. No one.
The vacancies?
It was asked at the
Was it
earlier.
asked today?
No one came up. It
Okay,
was asked.
volunteering for sub-district 3.
Do you have documentation?
Identification?
Documentation that you're on the board or that you live in the area? So we can just vote on you now. We can vote on you now, and then you can follow up with
I've
them.
known that I lived in 3 all this time, that
Okay,
it's
so-
not a vacancy, but
Okay,
No.
moving back, we're gonna go quick because we're running out of time, but going to 3A, filling a vacancy. So we have a volunteer to fill sub-district 3. She hasn't given approval of residency yet. If she's voted in, then we'll have her give residency to Anson later on. So do we have a motion to add Ellen Sofio as a,
I have
I
to
make motion.
verify her first before.
so you need to verify her first. Oh, we have 50 minutes. You can do that while we're doing the presentation, okay? So, okay, I'm just gonna go really fast. We already kind of discussed this, which is discussion, item number F, board business. Yeah. So permanent changes. So good. This is item number 6, item number F on board business, discussion regarding permanent changes to the Mānoa Neighborhood Board configuration. We're not holding what we're just discussing, which is that our board can request the neighborhood commission to permanently change the configuration of our board to have less seats as long as it's an odd number, or to have mixed or all at large seats. We kind of discussed this already. Does anyone have anything new to add to the discussion? We'll just take one and then we're going to move on for time. Go ahead, Dylan.
My name's Dylan Armstrong again. I joined the Mānoa Neighborhood Board in 2015. I was one of 11 candidates for 6 sub-district 4 seats. Many people do not realize this, but I've actually lived in 3 of the 4 sub-districts. I am not just a sub-district 4 person. I know your issues very well. I know your streets very well. I can tell you from my time as board chair, from then onwards, you do not discuss sub-district 4 issues. The majority of what you discuss is in fact the upper valley, and therefore you are not going to attract sub-district 4 people. In fact, sub-district 4 people mostly are not shopping at Mānoa Marketplace. They're going to be going down to the Longs at University and King. They're going to be doing their commerce in town. 87% increase in homelessness last year. All the major environmental species that environmentalists like myself care about are dying. What are you talking about that's going to bring in people that are not currently coming to the meetings? That's the issue that none of you have brought up in months of discussing this. I'm not trying to be a scold here, but I'm trying to say, if you're continuing to perpetuate the same system that's not working, you're not going to get there until you have a new system. Talk about bigger issues, new issues, as well as the things that are bringing you to this meeting.
All right, thanks. And I'm sorry, we're running really low on time. So ending that discussion item, going back to filling of vacancies for sub-district 3, Ellen Sofio's residency got confirmed, so we can vote on whether to add her or not. Do we have a motion to add Ellen Sofio? We have 45 minutes.
I make a motion.
Unless there's a competition. All right, and no one else is competing with you? We still need a motion?
Yeah.
But no vote?
No, just
Okay. So Member Fox's motion to add her to the board, do we need a second? Or nominate her, do we need a second?
I second.
need to
Although, okay.
She needs to explain more.
Yeah. So Ellen, you can do like a 1 or 2 minute speech to explain why you want to join, then we're gonna do a roll call vote. She's passing on the speech. Ensign, do the roll call vote.
Okay.
We need 9 to add her.
Yeah. Okay. 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 When I call your name, please say Sofio. Is that your last name? Correct? Okay. Zane?
Sophia?
Okay. Watson? Watson? Please say Sophia if you want to nominate her. to be joined? Okay, Bozo.
Sophia.
Okay, Nagaji.
Sophia.
Fukumoto.
Sophia.
Okay. Lee.
Sophia.
Okay, Koff. Koff.
Sophia.
Okay, Chong.
Sophia.
Okay, Moylan.
Sophia here more often than many of our real board members.
Okay, Koano.
Sophia.
Fox.
Sophia.
Okay, and Mishreki.
Sophia.
Okay. That's 11. She's now part of the board. I need you all to.
Right now. Okay, so we're gonna continue the meeting. He's gonna give you the oath of office off camera. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna skip over minutes for now because we're running very low on time. We're going to returning business, Roman numeral number 4, returning business. First, we have item A, updates on Manoa Banyan Court and Aria Lane. I don't have any new information on Aria Lane or Manoa Banyan Court. Does anyone else have updates? Any burning new news on either of those projects?
Just, I did check in the last week or two, and DPP said nothing had been submitted yet, but be aware for Manoa Banyan Court, they tend to do it Thanksgiving time, so
Okay, and I'm just gonna see if anyone's online.
Christmas time.
Okay, I don't see any raised hands online, so it looks like we have no other updates on either of those. So we're moving to item B, and returning business, all wildlife flood mitigation. Any news? Member Fukumoto shaking his head. Moving on to item C, updates on University Lab School and proposed Campus Town project, with Lori Lum sharing the results of the project's online survey. Lori Lum, please go ahead.
Supposed to put my presentation up, but while he's doing that, I will just start in the interest of time. So good evening. I am Laurie Lum. I'm sub-consultant to PBR Hawaii, which is the planning consultant that was retained by UH Manoa to do a feasibility study for the 15-acre parcel bordered by Dole Street, University Avenue in Metcalf. There was a website launched on August 20th. The online survey was a part of that website, and it was prepared to solicit feedback from the university community and the general public on potential land uses and activities for the site. The survey was developed based on information compiled from previous outreach efforts, meetings with representatives from UH and the Manoa communities. The survey received a total of 1,120 responses, and on behalf of UH Manoa and PBR Hawaii, we want to thank all of you who took the time to participate in the survey. So I have 15 slides, but I'm going to go through really quick in the interest of time. This is posted it's part of the meeting materials, and we may have a couple of extra hard copies for you. So again, the survey basically had 9 questions. The first asked your affiliation. So Anson, the next slide. Yeah. And it might be hard for some of you to see. So I'll just quickly go through the choices. So your affiliation choices were UH student, staff, faculty, or UH alum, community member, specifically University Laboratory School, community member, Manoa resident, or overall community member, and you could specify the area from which you're from. 50% of the participants were UH affiliated, again, identified as a student, faculty, staff, or alumni. There was a combination. We totaled, if you check the box UH and University Lab School, that represented 11%. ULS alone represented 17%. So again, that was if you specifically checked community member, University Lab School. And then community, overall 22%. So whether you identified yourself as a Manoa resident or just as a community member, you fell into that community category.
So, really quick, sorry. So just perhaps not Manoa resident, just community at
because
large.
it could be someone that checked the box, university alum, but now lives elsewhere, but participated in the survey.
I'm a at-large community
Correct.
member who is also not a Manoa resident.
Correct.
Just
Yeah, then-
someone
but if
who
you
lives
check
anywhere.
Community member, yes, correct. You would be in that community box.
Do you have the breakdown further of how many Manoa residents?
Not tonight, but I can get that to you. Thank you. So first question, next slide, Anson, is what types of housing options could help improve the quality of life and community connection? And for these questions, you could check all that you apply. So therefore, the percentages will not add up to 100%. What you could check under the housing category was UH student housing, faculty housing, staff housing, hotel or short-term housing, UH Mānoa workforce housing, senior housing, affordable housing, other. And for every category, you had a I do not wish residential housing, or I do not wish this. In this slide, or for this question, 57% responded yes, 43 no's. So when I say the no's for the negative responses, it does reflect, if you check that last box, I do not wish to add housing. Or for every other question, I do not wish to add that. The slide does break down by the participant affiliation, but I'm going to skip it just because in the interest of time, so we can get to the next question. So overall, the top, sorry, Anson, next slide. The top 3 preferences under this housing category, top was for student housing, second staff housing, third faculty, fourth preference was affordable housing, followed by short-term. Yes, so again, the percentages won't add to 100.
Yeah, I mean, going, yes, if you're gonna tranquilize, it probably balances you out.
Can I just continue?
Okay, treatment that uses controlled low doses of anesthetic medicine.
Next question, so I'm just going to go. Next question was what types of educational institutional facilities could help improve the quality of life and community connection? Again, you could select all that apply. Choices were university laboratory school facilities, K through 12. Next, UH Mānoa classrooms, UH research space, UH study areas, UH office space, UH computer labs, again, always an other category. And again, I do not wish to add any educational facilities. This got the highest number of response to affirmative, yes, 1,030, 92% yes, and only 8% no. Again, the slide breaks down by participant affiliation, but I'm going to jump to the next slide, again, in the interest of time, so you could see the top, how it was rated, how it broke down. So preferences. UH campus-related facilities collectively were the majority of the responses. Study areas, research space, classrooms, office space, and computer labs. The ULS facilities, so the lab school facilities, received collectively 737 responses, or 72% as a single combined category. So those are the top 2. Anson, next slide. What types of community facilities could help improve the quality of life, community connection? Choices were multi-purpose outdoor spaces, multi-purpose indoor spaces. So again, that as example, that could be for public meetings, community clubs, special events, a performance stage, community garden, again, the other category, and the I do not wish any community facilities. In this category, 74% yes, 26% no.
Oh,
Breakdown, Anson, next slide.
no.
The
I don't
top
need cake.
preference was for multi-purpose outdoor spaces, 73%. Second was multi-purpose indoor spaces, followed by community garden and performance stage. Thank you, Anson. Next slide is question, what types of commercial services and or activities could help improve the quality of life and community connection? Again, the choices were food and dining, retail shops, grocery store, healthcare services, childcare or daycare, entertainment, and that could be concerts, theater, performing arts, commercial space, and again, the other category, or I do not wish to add any commercial. 61% or 688 responded yes in this category, 39% no. The next slide will show the preferences of those 688 that support commercial services. The top 3 were first, food and dining, 69%. Second was a grocery store, 58%. And third was childcare, daycare, 39%. Fourth came in healthcare services, but that was nearly tied with entertainment and retail shops because the percentages there were 33%, 33%, and 32%. Thank you, Anson. Next slide. What types of public open space could help improve the quality of life? Again, open space, open area, green space, shaded areas, recreation space, walking trails, dog park, the other category, or I do not wish any public open space. 74% want open space. They voted yes for public open space, and there were 26% no's in this category. Then the preference slide, Anson, next one. Top preference was for just plain open space. Second was walking trails, followed by recreation space, dog park. Dog park came in after that. And the last big question was what types of transit mobility infrastructure could help improve the quality of life and community connection in the area? The choices were pedestrian infrastructure, which includes sidewalks, shaded pathways, and crosswalks, bus infrastructure, which is bus stops and shuttle stops, bicycle infrastructure, which is bike lanes, bicycle parking, moped, motorcycle infrastructure, again referring to parking, car infrastructure, which is parking, rideshare carpool infrastructure would be drop-off points, Bicky or bike share, which would refer to a docking station for those bikes, skateboard, scooter infrastructure, and again, the other category, or I don't wish to add any, transit mobility infrastructure. This, we had 78% affirmative that we should address this, 22% no's. And then Anson, the next slide will give the preferences. Top preference was pedestrian infrastructure with 83%. Second was bicycle infrastructure, and that was nearly tied with bus infrastructure. And then the other preferences came in under that were car infrastructure, Bicky or bike share, and that was it actually. Those came in pretty much tied. Okay, so the last two survey questions were open-ended. They were comment boxes. The first question was, what kinds of positive impacts do you hope the land uses or activities you checked above will have on UH Manoa and the broader community? The second open-ended question was, do you have any concerns about how land uses or activities you checked above could impact UH Manoa students, faculty, staff, or the broader community? So the reason this is stamped draft is because PBR Hawaii is still analyzing the survey data information. So the information I've shared tonight is a pretty good reflection of the survey responses, but the outstanding information they're still going through is the other category where people had to write in. So they're trying to categorize that. And then, of course, the last two open-ended questions. So again, those where people had to write in. The survey results, the complete survey results, will be posted once PBR completes the full analysis. So what are the next steps? The survey results, information obtained from the 2 community workshops we had, stakeholder meetings, along with information from the site assessment and market study being done by CBRE, are all going to be taken into consideration in developing the land use options for the property. So PBR's next step is to come up with these concepts. They'll first give it to UH for a preliminary review. And then, so that'll start already towards the end of this year when this feasibility study is completed. Once they have the draft concepts, then cost and engineering studies of these draft options have to be done. And then PBR will have to do, so they'll have refined plans, but they also have to do a draft financial analysis, right? To make sure, are these things feasible? So that's going to take us through fall of next year. I will keep this neighborhood board and community representatives informed of the progress on the concepts. The UH does intend to provide a status report of these efforts to the legislature for the next session, the 2026 legislative session. And the feasibility study, again, is anticipated to be completed by fall of 2026. I am I do have a separate meeting scheduled with the University Lab School parents for next week, Thursday at the ULS cafeteria. And I just want to emphasize that if the university does decide to move forward with a project on this property, they need to decide what source of funding would be applicable. They have to secure necessary entitlements, and they would have to design the project before even constructing it. So this is a very long-term process, and it will be years away before any potential redevelopment is undertaken. Thank you.
All right. So I'll just note very briefly that Anson's informed me that Ellen Sophia has been officially added. So she's officially, all her paperwork cleared. She took the oath. She's now a board member. So I'm going to open up the discussion in a minute. I'm just going to remind everyone, please, no personal attacks. If you want to criticize the project or criticize the survey, that's fine, but don't make personal attacks on any people. Okay. So Member Fox, go ahead.
Sure.
I really appreciate your lovely presentation tonight.
Thank you.
You see, I'm 73, and I've served as executive director of all neighborhood associations in the city of Long Beach, California, as well as chairman of the Council of Business Organizations. One thing, and I was in politics for 34 years. So one of the things I've noticed is you can really mop the floor with a lot of data points. You have 1,120 people who is your credible group of folks that are telling you what their opinions are. And bizarrely enough, very few from our community, because most of these people were outside our community coming in. You disclosed at the beginning of it. I have an impeccable memory. Comes with speaking 7 languages. So here's the problem I have with you. Presentation was fabulous, but you know, it's sort of like, I don't think it told us anything. It's just a lot, you know, there's in the business world, we say there's lies, there's big lies, and then there's statistics. And you can make a statistic say anything you want it to say. You can color a graph in 5 colors, and it makes it look marvelous. And you did a great job of that. But the question is it real? And I'm not really sure whether I'm willing to accept the realness of this yet, because I don't think that credibility has been proven. But you're doing your job, which is great. You're a consultant. That's what they hired you to do. Because you go out there to the community and tell them, don't watch this, look at that. So that's what a neighborhood board is for, is to say, no, watch that. So we will look at what's going on, and we will go along there with you. We may agree with you sometimes, and we may disagree with you sometimes. That's the nature of life. But thank you for the presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Bach.
Thank you. Member Koff, and then, sorry, not Koff, Member Chong, and then Koff, and then Fukumoto.
I have similar.
Sorry. I called you by mistake. It's Member Chong first. Sorry about that.
The question I have is, is that there's already somebody on that property, and it's University Laboratory School. Is there some kind of plan? I mean, you're just going to kick them off the property? Is
No.
that what it comes down to?
No, the University Lab School will definitely be an option in one of, the concepts. Again, going forward, they haven't done the concepts yet, right? But that's the next step. Based on all this information and feedback from the community that we have, then its PBR will start drafting options and concepts to look at. And the University Lab School is one of those options.
So
Now,
is it
the
part of
university-
it still yet?
The University of Hawaii told me they have received information from the lab school on what they would like to see or what their needs are. So they said they will definitely take that into consideration. But I can't speak to any plans because no plans have been developed yet.
I know, but as you know, they're on that property.
Right, so that's why I'm saying that is an option. And
It's an option, but
yes,
it still means that you can kick them off the property. Is that correct?
well,
Or is it they are included in this plan?
well, all I can say is that I do know that the university leadership has committed to having ongoing discussions with the laboratory school, and they did say the lab school will be an option. But that's all I know.
So are they able to stay there or not? Is that what
Well,
it comes down?
I think they're able to stay for, I mean, again, I think that's why I wanted to stress that any redevelopment would be years and years away. But even if they stay, the College of Education will be relocating. The university is spending 25 million for a new College of Education that's going to be relocating as a replacement where the Snyder Hall is today. And that's slated for, I think, by spring of 2028. So already the laboratory school has 2.5 years to work with the university on, okay, well, if they move, because I've already been meeting with principal, right? And so his things are, so if they move, Lori, does that mean maybe we can move in that space or this space? So again, those questions are all coming up, but there is no draft plan today, right? When they finish the study, that will inform the draft plans and concepts.
So I'm just going to jump in for time on that.
Oh, sorry.
Going member Koff on Zoom, then we'll go to member Fukumoto. Member Koff, go ahead.
Yes, I too am concerned about protecting the space for the lab school, which has come to our board several times over the many years, trying to secure their space. It's very important feature. And I also question the sample size. If you're going to ask university kids what do they want, well, they want bicycles and they want housing and all that. But I think when we plan a community and we plan space for a community, that requires people who have some greater vision of the whole thing and what's necessary, including the university lab school. That this is what my thoughts are at the moment. Anyway, thank you.
Member Fukumoto and then Member Moylan. Okay.
I have another question on the University Lab School. Would it be possible to tear down the current physical plant of the University Lab School and rebuild it within the structure of the new whatever it is? Is that an option? Okay, that's all I need. Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to go to Member Moylan, and then we'll go to community members, and if we have time, we'll go back to Member Fox. So, Member Moylan.
Okay, looking at the survey responses, for the people who are affiliated with either UH or ULS or both, 70% are UH, 30% are ULS. And then we say, what kind of educational facilities do we want? 70% UH, 30% ULS. So what this says to me is everyone just voted for their own thing. Shocking, isn't it?
Yep, I see someone in the back.
My name is Ruth Crockett. I've lived in Manoa Valley since October of '64. I was a College of Education instructor because I was librarian at the Upper Lab School from '61 to '67. What I want to know, you have data from 1,000 people. How many people live in Manoa Valley? You have a very tiny sample. I want to know what those people are thinking who didn't respond, because I think it will not look like what you have. And I think you have to do something about that.
Sorry. Okay. Do we have anyone from the community? Yep. Sorry, you there, and then you. Sorry. Oh, you go to the microphone so you can, because they got to hear you online.
Fundamental thing I haven't heard yet is what's the problem in the first place? You got the lab school, both my sons went to lab school, had a brilliant time. I think it's a lovely community. There's the College of Education, which, by the way, works very integrally with the lab school, so that synthesis, the way they work together is important. I think proximity is important as well. They're next to each other. That's great. I'm just a little bit suspicious about the agenda here. Why suddenly we're asking questions that sort of kind of open up the possibility of change for what other agendas that aren't to do with education and aren't to acknowledge and respect the agenda for the lab school and for the College of Education. They're trying to move the College of Education to the rest to another building, I guess, on the campus. But I'm not convinced that's done in the best interests of the faculty and the College of Education. And it certainly separates them from the lab school. And so I'm very cautious about this. I'm not mollified or put at ease by saying, oh, it's several years away. I think that's not comforting to me. I'm suspicious of that because it's kind of the agenda. And then things start going and you say, well, we put so much investment in this, we should keep going with this. But so I guess I fundamentally would like to know, what's the problem in the first place? Why isn't what we have there acceptable and something to be improved perhaps, but not done away with? My name's Tracy Trevor. I live in the Valley.
So I can respond. The feasibility study is being done. Again, they're just looking at options right now because it is a very large site. 15 acres is large. So you can accommodate multiple uses on the site. It could, again, you've heard from everyone, from the university as well as the community and the university laboratory community, that educational uses should be continued on the site. So that came in very high, number one, okay? But it's not to say that you can't have a grocery store on the corner or that you can't have some type of housing, right? So I think the university, the reason they commissioned the study, number one, to remind everyone that there was a Senate concurrent resolution encouraging the university to look at, develop, what could you do with this site? And because housing has been such a priority for the state, the resolution specifically said, we urge you to do a study, look at housing and other possible uses. So to address your thing, was there a problem? Why did this start? That's how this started. In my outreach efforts, so my particular thing under the PBR consulting team was to touch base with the community, gather input. I met with various stakeholder groups, whether it was the within the university system. I met with the undergraduates, the graduates, the faculty senate, et cetera, right? And then outside of that, for the Mānoa community, I met with the Mānoa Outdoor Circle, Walama Mānoa, right? Different groups. So if you're saying how, and actually all of that happened over a course of quite a few months, and their feedback is what informed the online survey. So it wasn't like we just said, oh, how come you're asking about commercial use? It's because when I met with the students, the undergrads said, you know, we're on a meal plan, but you know, Laurie, we'd love to have more options. Okay, food and dining, right? Let's look at that, right? So remember, the university is foremost responsible for their students, right? For their students, faculty, staff, but they do care about the community at large. So I think it was great that they said, no, it is very key for us to do this community outreach. So
Sorry, Lauren, just because we have a bunch of people backed up, so go ahead. Sorry, I know I talked to you early, but I forgot your name, but Mike.
I'm Mike Meyer. I'm a university lab school parent and a proud Mānoa graduate. And thank you for your presentation. I know you are the messenger and not the decision maker. And I really do appreciate the slides. I want to say that there are a lot of comments from people in the community that the survey availability was not long enough to get enough people to respond. So I believe we did make a request for more length of time for more respondents. So hopefully it can be opened up again because the sample size is ridiculously small. And I don't like statistics and understand them very well, but I understand that point. I feel it's a real shame. Well, let me backtrack. I want to say that I am happy to hear that the university administration is now meeting with ULS, which is not something that could be said a year ago. So there is dialogue now, so that's good. It's a good step. But I am disappointed that we don't have a plan for the lab school. If you go to our website, you will see all of our accolades in our year of end report, including a near 100% graduation rate going back years. I mean, we have graduates who are in business, in government, huge leadership roles. And, you know, we are at the top in public school accomplishments year after year. And I just want to put it this way to the community. If somebody said there's a chance we're closing the law school, what would the discussion be like? If somebody said JABSOM, School of Medicine, is going to go away. What would the discussion be like? If somebody said the School of Nursing and Dental Hygiene would be closed, what would the discussion be like? A lot of people don't know ULS predates every single one of those schools by decades. So there's a lot of history, there's a lot of intertwined history between the university and the lab school. And when you talk to, if you don't know anybody from College of Ed, make some friends, ask them what they think about the school. You can ask the students who are in the College of Ed how easy it is to go and do research projects in our own DOE. And they're going to tell you it's a real multi-step process, which takes a lot of work. The comparison is you go to the ULS admin and ask permission to do a project there, the approval is very, very quick. So they're going to get a lot more done working with lab school than they will in the DOE system. Thank you for your time.
All right. So sorry, I'm just going to very quickly go to Bosold and Fox and Moylan, and then we're going to go on to the next item because we're running out of time. But you two can discuss after the meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I have a couple of quick questions. One to note is when was the survey done exactly relevant to the stuff that's happening in Pucks Alley? Like a big portion of that area was closed at the same time, limiting therefore the like restaurant and other, options that may have been available at the survey respondent time for the UH students, and that might have colored their response. Another would be, again, how many Manoa residents were on this? How was this, put out? I remember finding out about this survey at the very last minute. I had a lot going on. I wasn't able to respond because it was an extremely short window. And by the time I heard about it, it was already gone. And I know a lot of other people who, it was too short of a window that it was open. And I wonder how was it advertised to the greater Manoa community and the residents in the area? I think it's very interesting that the
I'm sorry,
majority.
can I just wait for 1 second? I see someone filming in the back. You don't need to film this. This all gets posted on the Neighborhood Commission website, so it's all online if you want. You don't need to film it here. But go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's really interesting that the majority of the respondents are UH students, and this is the area of UH that most fronts the Manoa community. And so all the respondents, as you said, this is a very long-range plan. Very little response from the people who will be most impacted, right? The students come and go, they're coming in and out of the valley. A lot of times they're not living in the valley, or even if they are, they're there for 4 years, maybe a PhD students there for 8 years. The majority of the people who are going to be affected by this long-term, not represented in this. So I think like that proportion would be very interesting. And then real quick, can you remind me, this, I have not read the legislation, but I thought that the proposal or the legislation actually, like we asked this at a previous meeting. I missed the last couple meetings, but who started that? Was that UH went to senators? Was that senators went to UH? And when wasn't it specifically? Was it for specifically housing, or was it housing and other uses? I thought it was specifically
It was
housing.
for workforce housing and other affiliated uses.
Affiliated uses.
Yeah, workforce housing
Okay,
and other.
so but not an
And it was
open-ended.
Introduced, I want to say Senator Chang. I will confirm that.
Okay.
But Senator Chang is the chair of the Senate Housing Committee, and I know that's where it came from.
Okay.
But I will get you, I know we've sent before a copy of the resolution and so forth, but I'll
Okay,
get you
so
that way.
the legislature said, look into making this housing and potentially some ancillary related uses. And
Which
then
is
now
why-
this feasibility study is being done, which seems to be everything's on the table.
Yeah.
And I think that something I keep hearing from a lot of the community members is it would be helpful to know what is UH what do they want to do? Do they want to sell this property, make money from it,
Yeah.
get fees for rental? Or is this, we're just doing this in response to the legislature said, check out if you can do some housing
I
there.
think that's where it started. Remember, Mosul, I will tell you that I'm actually doing this presentation ahead of the Board of Regents, which I wasn't supposed to, but because of the timing of when these meetings are and the interest in the community and saying, we want to know what the results were, Lori. Chair was kind enough to put it on the agenda for tonight. The Board of Regents meeting is tomorrow. So I will be present, the same presentation I will do tomorrow. And ultimately, it is the Board of Regents' decision whether or not to move forward.
Okay, I think,
So, sorry, we
I
got
think that it should be noted in that meeting tomorrow, the fact that you don't really know so far in this presentation how much Manoa resident community response you
Yeah,
have in there.
I will get back to you. I mean, we
Okay.
do have the
You
number.
could have-
Okay,
you could have-
sorry, just
we have the number.
jumping in for time. So very quickly, Fox and William, then we got to move on. Thanks.
Okay, I've listened to you. You're a lovely woman, great outfit, good shoes. I like that. However, there's a but in everything that I do, fashionista as I am. You see, I've been in development. I am a commercial real estate broker in California and in Hawaii. You know what you want to do when you're going out there to get a consultant, right? You know what the parameters are of what you're doing. So when you said to me that, oh, well, we'll figure this thing out later in the process, that was a lie because it's not.
No, we're not
possible.
going to accuse anyone of lying, but
Saying that that's not possible in a presentation. You either know what the university wants, right? And you go out and make a feasibility study to say, is it feasible to do this? So the question is, do they want to keep the school on the property, right? Well, either yes or no, because if they don't want to keep that school there,
so
they're
so,
looking
so
for
remember,
other
Fox,
feasible
we have
options.
8 minutes left. I got to jump in for time. Remember, one very quickly, and then we have to move on.
To respond to a couple of points about statistics, a statistics teacher, I cannot resist because one of the most counterintuitive things about polling is that the uncertainty in your poll has nothing to do with what fraction of the population you asked. If your sample is random, it only depends on how many people you asked. And it turns out it's 1 over the square root of that number of people. So we frequently see in a presidential election where 150 million people are going to vote, they say, we polled 400 people. And that's what the poll says. And the poll has an error of plus or minus 5%. That's actually true. And so in this case, if this were a completely random sample, which is probably not true, but if it were, 1 over the square root of 1120, 3%. The uncertainty in this would be 3%. That's an amazing but true thing about statistics. So I had to pass it on.
All right, thanks. Okay, thank you, Lori. Email me when you have more updates. We're going to move on to the next agenda item. We have 7 minutes left. We had a lot on the agenda. I did apologize in advance to our electeds that things are going to be very, very tight at the end. They wouldn't have much time. So we're going to take reports. If there's any reports, probably no time for questions. See monthly reports. Is Dominic Diaz here or anyone from Board of Water Supply? All right, he's not here. Going to Mayor Glangiardi's office. I know Gavin Thornton was here earlier. Is he still here? If so, we can do a really, really quick presentation. Report.
I'm still here. DTS responded to a lot of things that were brought up at the last meeting, and if there's a way that I can share those in writing, I don't think there's time for me to go through everything.
Okay, we can roll it over to next meeting. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I see your hands. We have to go forward because we have about 6 minutes left. So going out to Councilmember Scott Nishimoto's representative, do we have any very brief reports from the councilman's office?
Hey, how's it? Heath Williams, Councilmember Nishimoto's office. Thanks, Chair, board members, for the robust discussion today. Just reminding everyone about the 1,000 tree giveaway this weekend on Sunday, and also inviting you all to join us at the Mānoa Christmas Parade on December 7th. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Going out to state monthly reports, Senator Carol Fukunaga. Item number 8, please go ahead. Is the senator still on? Or is she logged off? Oh, she is. She is. Okay.
I submitted my report earlier and I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you. And I'm sorry, we don't have time for questions. We got to get the meeting closed out before they kick us out. Going to item
Okay,
number B.
thank you.
Thanks. Representative Andrew Takuya Garrett, he let me know he was traveling on the continental US. I don't believe he or his representative are here. We'll catch up with him in December.
I'm here for Representative Garrett. Sorry, I know we're short of time, so I'm just gonna post something in the chat that just 2 announcements. One is that University of Hawaii is looking for system-wide, looking for people in volunteering for the Board of Regents. So I'm gonna post that on the chat, where to go to apply. Also, we just wanted to, also we'll post on the chat some of the issues around the federal shutdown and the effect on the SNAP. Representative Garrett has it on his Instagram and Facebook as well, but I'm going to post a couple of things that are available for the community to take advantage of. So I'll post that as well. Any questions, please call our office. Thank you.
All right, thanks. And Elmer Kai told me he wouldn't be here, so skipping UH reports. Item D, is Lacey Goshi on? So we can take a very brief report before we close out.
Yes, I'm here. Just really quickly, similarly, I was also going to provide some of the resources available in light of the federal government shutdown, and I can post that into the chat.
All right, thanks. Going now, community concerns, we got to skip that unless there's like a minute at the end. Announcements. Next meeting, our next regular board meeting will be held here, same location, Noelani Cafeteria, December 3rd, 2025. It'll be held in person as well as online like usual, starting at 6:30 p.m. For next agenda, for next meeting, I don't have any agenda items planned specifically, other than discussing the at-large CID, which we probably aren't going to end up passing. But anyway, there's not much planned. You can email me or let me know if you want me to add anything. I'm planning to keep it as a pre-light agenda, just some discussions and reports from our electeds and all that, checking back in, since at least a few members are going to be absent, so we might not have quorum. Anyway, this was a very busy meeting. We had an unusually heavy load of business for board business, so I'm sorry I cut a lot of people off more than I usually like to, but it looks like we made it. So do we have any very last minute announcements? We have 3 minutes left. Mayor Vosel.
The 1,000 plant and tree giveaway is happening at the UH President's House on Sunday that Heath mentioned earlier. He didn't
You know what
mention
time?
where it was. 8 a.m. till noon. Come on down for a plant.
All right,
Thanks very
thanks. All right,
much,
we have
Member
about
Vosel.
2.5 minutes. Any final comments or questions before we close out? Anyone online? All right. Member Kopp, go ahead.
It's an unrelated message basically to the mayor's office that the Manoa pool is going to be again closed for some correction to the faulty paint job that they did. So now our swimmers can, who knows how long it will be out. But the point was that the techniques used by the painter are so poor that the confidence is lost. So I just raised that to the mayor's representative. What can we do?
And I'll just ask the mayor's representative to take that back and he can let us know what we can do next meeting because we are out of time. So thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you again in December. We're adjourned.